Hi everybody. So it's been a while since I recorded a video like this. I'm actually coming on to just share a little bit about what has been very present for me in the last month. May was very intense for me personally. So we were, myself and my family, we were informed about my aunt's, my godmother's illness, and she was diagnosed with last stage of brain tumor. And she is currently in a hospice and leaving us slowly. And it was really devastating to receive that news. And also, there was a sense of intensity during the month in terms of what had to be done, as well as emotionally. And what came to me during that time was a lot of reflections related to illness, suffering, life, and death. And this isn't the first time that I'm reflecting about this, but I wanted to just share with you a little bit about some of the teachings that had supported me over the years in my life, and especially in a time when we are dealing with suffering such as our loved one leaving us, but not only. When I began practicing Buddhism in 2011, I started exploring a lot of teachings that I've really applied in my life. And when yoga came into my life, I started seeing some of the similarities, and it really has been a great support for me. In my personal life and everything really that I do and go through, and that's why I also decided to do the work that I do, so I can share everything that I learned with you through the yogic teachings, as well as my background in Buddhism and a lot of other things that I've explored along the way. But what I want to talk about today is actually the non-dualistic perspective of reality. So, some of the Buddhist and yogic teachings or philosophies, schools have a non-dualistic perspective of reality. Not all of them. Some of them will be based on the dualistic perspective. But I will talk about the non-dualistic perspective today because I really find it very supportive in our daily life when we are people who actually live in the world. So the non-dualistic perspective of reality, to put it very simply, it means that the ultimate reality or the divine, or in Buddhism we call it the Buddha nature, the source of all things, is one and the same with everything else that we experience in the physical world. So all the physical objects, we as human beings, our body, and also it includes all of our experiences, the experiences that sometimes are considered bad, or maybe that there's something wrong with us if we have these experiences. All of that stuff, everything that happens to us, everything that we experience as human beings, is one and the same with that ultimate reality, with that Buddha nature, the divine, the source, whatever we want to call it. So this is the non-dualistic approach, because we are saying that everything that happens, so including an illness or including death, it's actually divine. It actually possesses the Buddha nature. It possesses this higher life state, this higher consciousness. So the way we call it, it doesn't really matter. But I hope that you get the idea that something that we consider higher is actually one and the same with everything else that's happening around us. The daily life, the breakfast that we eat, the work that we do, and the trips that we do, the suffering that we experience, and the joys that we have. So everything really, including the things that we might consider good or bad, enjoyable, not so enjoyable. And in Buddhism, the Buddhist that I practice is Japanese. there is a mantra that we chant, and in this mantra there is a word myoho, and I'm gonna actually just read out a quote from this book that I have, The Buddha in Daily Life, which talks about this eternal rhythm of life and death. So Myo represents death and Ho represents life. Life and death are two phases passed through by the entities of the 10 worlds, the entities of all living beings, which embody the law of cause and effect. No phenomena, heaven or earth, yin or yang, the sun or the moon, the 5 planets, or any life condition from hell to Buddhahood are free from birth and death. Thus, the life and death of all phenomena are simply the two phases of Myoho Renge Kyo. In this Maka Shikan, Tiantai says, the emergence of all things is the manifestation of their intrinsic nature, and their extinction, the withdrawal of that nature into the state of latency. So what that means is, first of all, that life and death are part of the same coin. And sometimes we think that life ends and then there's nothing. So the view of Tiantai school and also this particular Buddhism and some other branches is that actually life and death are part of, they're actually one. They're one and the same. It's just that death is the latent phase of life. And life is the manifestation in the physical world, in the physical body. And this applies to everything that happens to us, which means that all sufferings come to an end, all joys come to an end, but they also come into existence because this is the nature of our life. So something begins and something ends. So this is a natural rhythm of life. And why I find this really beneficial and very supportive for my daily life is because when we look at life this way, we realize that in every death or every ending, there is potential for something new to be born. So there is a potential for something new to come into existence. And we experience that as well in nature. So every year when winter comes, it looks like all the trees, all the nature is actually dead. However, they are just in this latent phase. So they are resting and they are waiting for the right circumstances to arrive in order for them to come into existence, to become alive again. And this is something really beautiful because when we are experiencing something difficult, and it could be something like an illness in family or someone leaving us, like death of another person, but it could also be something just happening during our day that maybe we are triggered by something, we don't feel so good emotionally, we feel a challenge in our physical body, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter, but that becomes the fuel for our deeper connection with ourselves and deeper sense of really nourishing that latent state as well. Because when we are in the state of maybe not seeing the point of something or not seeing a way out, not seeing the light, this is where we are likely to sit down and create more space to connect with ourselves. And in the yogic teachings, or the way I approach yoga, and this is also the non-dualistic approach to yoga, which isn't always the case, because sometimes you will find that some yogic teachings are dualistic, which means that the yoga practice is actually to help you detach from everything that you are experiencing in this world. Personally, I don't find it very practical, so that's why my approach to yoga is non-dualistic, which means that when you are met with a difficulty, suffering, maybe you feel that you are overwhelmed, there's a lot of thoughts happening, um, whatever it is, you use your yoga practice as a way to explore it. Explore it, create space, because there is something latent, there is something that we cannot see in this difficulty or in this suffering that can really help us grow and come to life again, come into the other side of the coin. And this is not to say that one is better than the other. It's just to see that they are so interconnected that in order for us to see the light, we need to give space to the darkness as well. So whenever you feel sorrow, sadness, hopelessness, whatever it is, you can use your practice, your sadhana, your yoga practice to explore it. And we do it through the body. So the body is not something we want to bypass or get rid of. The body stores our emotions, the body stores our thoughts and memories. So we use our body to connect with the deepest parts of ourselves, to connect with our divine nature, actually. Because when we create space to notice what is happening, notice all this maybe heavy stuff, we are able to slowly create space for the light to enter. And there is a beautiful quote by Rumi called, that goes, the wound is where the light enters you. So, in this non dualistic approach, perspective of reality, everything that we experience is our fuel to see our divine nature, or our Buddha nature, um, our higher self, our true essence. It doesn't matter what words you use. So this is my share for you today. I find it hugely supportive, valuable for my own life, and that's why I'm here to share it with you, because I really hope that it is of value to you. Feel free to share any comments about this with me, if this feels relevant or not. All comments are welcome. Thank you.